Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Drama Flavored Coffee. This next story comes from the subreddit Am I the Asshole, posted by 2mother23. Am I the asshole for telling my stepmother to get over her child calling my wife mom? My father married my now stepmother late in life after an accidental pregnancy. For reference, my father is 71, my wife and I are 32 and 30, and my stepmother is 41. My stepmother was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer while pregnant and has progressed to stage 4. She has less than a year to live. We've already worked it out between the three of us that after my stepmother passes on, my wife and I will be adopting the baby. It's the perfect solution. My father will get to fully retire and have a more appropriate grandfather role. My wife and I will be able to have a second child, and our older child will be able to have a younger sibling that they've already bonded with since we already do most of the care for the baby because she's far too ill. I came over to visit and show them pictures and video of the kids. I didn't think about this, but in one of the videos, the baby can be heard saying "mama" to my wife. She got angry at that and asked if we allow the baby to say that, which we do, and it came out that we would be adopting the baby when she passes on. She balked at that and said she would never allow it, but quite frankly, that's just not her choice. I tried to tell her not to worry about it and that we would make sure she wasn't forgotten, but she got angry and tried to say that she would stop it. I shouldn't have engaged, but I did, and I ended up telling her to get over it because that's just what was going to be. She started crying and stormed out. My father is upset with me for upsetting her, which I feel bad about, but she's the one who made a big deal about it. She never had to even think about it. She brought it up, not me. We didn't want to stress her out about it because there was no need to. What did she think the reality of this situation was going to be? My wife and I are already the ones raising this child. My father is too old to fully raise another child or even want to. I don't think it's my fault that she pressed for a truth, then didn't like what she found. Personal opinion. Yes, you're the asshole. And not only are you the asshole, you're cruel and heartless. I mean, this woman is dying, and you tell her that, you decided the fate of her child and she has no say in it, and then that she should just get over it. I mean, just imagine someone telling you that they're going to take your child away, you have no say, and you should get over it. I mean, that's absurd. I mean, your stepmother's feelings are valid, and it doesn't matter if she has a year to live, a month to live, or a day to live. She's alive right now, and she should have a say in what happens to her child. No one gave you the right to take that from her. And I really hope your stepmother has, other family and friends who are willing to help her out with this, and they don't let you get the baby because you don't deserve it. And I would feel bad for this kid being raised by someone who has no heart at all. Let's check out the comments. Obiter Dicta says, "You're the asshole. Y'all went behind her back and planned her child's future without telling her. Not only that, you couldn't even wait for her to be dead to start enacting your little plan. She just found out her husband intends to abandon their child when she dies, and you think she should just get over it?" Primary Criticism 929 says, "You're the asshole. She's dying and her kid is calling another woman mama. Dude, have a heart. I'm wondering why you and your wife have the kid. The baby has a father who should be taking care of them and should be spending time with their mother while there's still time. There's something off about your story. In any case, you're the asshole." Silver-haired Inu says, "Hard, you're the asshole. Not for letting the child call your wife mama. The child is very young and that will be your child in every way but biological, but she's dying of cancer. She's already grieving not being there to watch her child grow up, and you metaphorically just grabbed her by the back of the head and rubbed her nose in it. What if it was your wife that had cancer and you already had another mom lined up for when she passes? Not a wife for you necessarily, but someone to step into her role as mother. How do you think your wife would feel about that? How do you think she should feel if they told her, well, I'm going to be your child's name, Mom. You need to get over it. As a mother, we want our children taken care of, but we don't want to hear about being replaced in our role, especially not while we're still here and too sick to be the mom we so desperately want to be. Let me be very clear. I'm not saying you're the asshole for adopting the baby. You are clearly in a better place to raise a young child than your elderly father. Adoption is beautiful and selfless, and I commend you for it. This is just about the conversation with a dying mother, when you could have just as easily said, I think X is just at that age where kids call every female mama, or something non-committal like that to spare a dying woman's feelings. Kaz Z says, you're the asshole. Imagine plotting adopting a dying woman's child behind her back and then wondering if you're an asshole. She's not dead yet, and you are all acting like she is. She gets to watch, in her last months, your wife take her child and erase her from the kid's life. She's probably already grieving the fact that she won't be around to watch her baby grow up, and now has the added heartbreak of watching herself get erased. An academic panic says, you're the asshole. If it was your kid and you were dying, I presume you'd want to actually have a say in what happens to your kid after you were gone. Looks like you, your father, and wife just decided what was best without consulting the mother and then patted yourselves on the back for how well everything was working out. The lack of empathy here is truly frightening. Now, I wanted to add that I did go through the comments, and OP actually did respond to some of the comment section, and he kept saying that he was going to raise the child and refer to his mother as his tummy mommy. Now, I didn't know what this term was, and I actually had to look it up. And tummy mommy is used in adoption culture to refer to the birth mother. And then he goes on to say that it's not meant to be insulting. But I think he's wrong. I think it is insulting. This is her child. This is not a child that she willingly gave up for adoption. She didn't even know that her own child was going to be taken care of by someone other than her husband. It sounds like he's just going to raise this child and refer to its real mom as tummy mommy, and like that's all she was. She gave birth to the child, and then that's it. There was no feeling of love between mother and baby, which is completely false. The stepmother still feels, and rightfully so, that she is the child's mom. But I think OP is just being extremely selfish. He's using this situation to his advantage because, it just works out in their favor because him and his wife wanted a second child. They wanted their current child to have another sibling, and it's just all for his self-serving purpose. This story comes from the subreddit Am I the Asshole? From user Snowdrafts123. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she needs to stay with her mom? I, 35 male, have 2 kids, 14 female and 11 male, with my ex-wife Sadie. We have no formal custody agreement because we have always parented well together. We got divorced when Bella, 14 female, was 7, and my son Brock was 4. I stayed single for a long time and didn't really bring anyone around my kids. So I recently started dating again. Alyssa has an 11-year-old son that plays on the same basketball team as Brock. I didn't really see the need to say anything to Sadie because she didn't allow me to have a say with her love life. I didn't like one of her last boyfriends, and she told me too bad. My son and her son really love it. My daughter and Alyssa got along very well. So I have no problem with Sadie hanging at my house with the kids. If she has nothing going on and wants to see our kids, I'm cool with her coming over, and she will spend the night sometimes in my guest room. So she stopped over about 2 months ago, and Alyssa was there. I was in the other room, and I heard some yelling. Then Sadie barges into my office, almost in full tears, screaming at me about Alyssa. I could hardly even make out what she was saying. I called her once she left to get the full story. Basically, Alyssa was Sadie's childhood bully. Alyssa was a year older and picked on Sadie growing up. Sadie demanded I break up with her because she didn't want Alyssa around her kids. I said that wouldn't be happening. So I talked to Alyssa about everything. She said that she hardly even remembered my ex-wife, but that she remembers them being friends growing up, then having a falling out. Then they didn't like each other. She said it was mutual dislike and not bullying. I decided to call my ex and tell her that she needed to let me know if she was stopping by going forward, and that the sleepovers probably needed to cease as well. She flipped out, saying she couldn't believe I would choose her bully over her. I told her that this happened 20 years ago and she needed to get over it. So now my daughter started disrespecting Alyssa out of nowhere. She went from friendly to mean in literally a month. I suspect Sadie told her something. I came home to find Alyssa crying in our room. I asked Bella what happened, and she said some nasty stuff about Alyssa, and that was it. I asked my son what happened, and he told me that Bella was being mean to Alyssa. Bella threatened to get her mom involved. Bella also went off on Alyssa's son, so I told Bella she needed to go to her mom's to stay for a little. This has been a pattern now for weeks. Now my ex is blowing up my phone calling me a shit dad, saying I'm picking a bully over his own family. I said I'm not, that it's time for me to start dating again, and everyone needs to be accepting of that. That only my ex had a problem at first, but now my daughter does because of her, and that it's time for both of them to grow up, and that Bella needs to apologize for her behavior. Am I the asshole? Okay, personal opinion here. This is such a messy situation, and I feel bad for everyone involved because it seems like everyone is a little bit to blame for the drama going on. Now, it's hard to say if your ex-wife Sadie is overreacting to you being with Alyssa and Alyssa being her childhood bully. In this situation, the only two people that know what happened is Alyssa and Sadie. But obviously she has very vivid memories of Alyssa. So if Alyssa was really her bully growing up, I can understand her being upset. But that does not give her the right to make decisions for you or demand that you stop seeing Alyssa. She's just going to have to accept your relationship with her. I think you were wrong in turning away your daughter and saying that she had to go stay with her mom. You really should have sat down with her and talked to her about what happened. And then all of you together, Sadie, Alyssa, you, Bella, all should have, I think all of you need to see a therapist to resolve this, but all of you need to sit down and have a mature conversation and come to an amicable solution. Because it's obvious you still want to see Alyssa. And up until your wife found out that Alyssa was your girlfriend, Bella had no problem with her. So it's obvious that Bella is trying to side with and protect her mother, which is understandable. And she's only 14, so she is reacting based on her emotions more than anything else. Okay, let's go to the comments. Rubber Ducky 656 says, everyone sucks here, except for the kids. You for turning away your daughter instead of sitting with her and talking it out like an adult. She's 14. She can handle it. Your ex-wife for alienating your daughter against your girlfriend instead of just explaining to her calmly about the situation neutrally. Again, she's 14. She can handle it. Your girlfriend for downplaying the situation. I might get downvoted for this, but if your wife got this angry seeing Alyssa again after 20 years, I suspect that there was more going on than just a simple mutual falling out. Happy Hippo 22121 says, maybe the bullying was really bad, or maybe the ex-wife is just being overly dramatic. The important point is that these two women need to sit down and have a civil conversation. That should have been the first thing to happen. Not all of this dramatic screaming and crying ultimatums nonsense that accomplished nothing and is now affecting the kids. So OP, girlfriend, and wife are assholes for that. Lanky Temperature 412 says, I feel like Sadie's version of what happened is probably closer to the truth. Alyssa, like many bullies, hardly remembers because she can pretend like it didn't happen or wasn't that bad. I agree. It's weird that Alyssa says that she hardly remembers your ex-wife, but then she also remembers them growing up and being friends and having falling out, and then they didn't like each other. So I don't know. Does she remember her or does she not remember her? But either way, I think everyone just needs to have a sit down and have a mature conversation about this so that the drama stops. Because in the long run, this is going to affect your kids the most. And it's affecting your relationship with your daughter. And you don't want that to go on for longer than it has to. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Drama Flavored Coffee. If you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel for new content. See you guys next time.